Hey, what's up everybody? So today we're gonna change front brakes and rear brakes on a 2017 Honda Accord. We're doing this out of my home garage, which is very small, and letting you know I am not a professional car mechanic. I am a mechanic, but just not a car mechanic. So, here we go. That's how much space I gotta work with. Let's go. So we're gonna start with the front brake. And first thing I'm gonna do is, because my car is in manual, I've already put it in gear, and I'm gonna put my e-brake on. There's the e-brake, good to go. Next thing, we already popped our hood, and let's open up that brake reservoir so that when we push the piston back, the fluid has somewhere to go. Now, because we're working on the front brakes, I'm gonna put my e-brake on, and also I'm gonna chock the rear wheels so that when I jack up the front of the car is not gonna move anywhere. Just a little bit of extra safety. I got my jack in position, and before you lift up your vehicle, loosen up the wheel lugs, just so it's easier to loosen it up once the car's up. Get the wheel off. Cool, so now that we've jacked our car, I've got two safety points here. One's with a little stand, and the other one with my jack that I'm not gonna remove and leave it there. I feel pretty safe working without a front wheel. Let's get that wheel off. Cool, there's the wheel. Once again, that's how much space I gotta work with here. No biggie, home setting, get it done. Okay, so here we are. Now, next step is getting these caliper bolts out. There's one up top here, 14 millimeter, and there's one at the bottom right here, which is 14 millimeter. Let's get these out. Alrighty, there's the top bolt, and there's the bottom bolt. As you can see, bolts are identical, already checked. Looks good. Now what you want to do is get these little retaining tubes out of the way, or push them back a little bit. They should have a little bit of play in them. There it is. That's the top one, and there's the bottom one. Okay, and now we'll be able to get this caliper loose. Just pull it off. Let's see if I can one-hand it. There we go. There's the brake caliper. It's being attached by the brake line over here, so don't let it hang on a brake line, because you might damage it and then you're in a whole world of other trouble. So here's what I'm gonna do. So what I've done here is I've hung up my brake caliper with a little bungee cord, and I attached it to one of the shock springs. Okay, so the cable doesn't have any tension on it. The brake line cable over here. That's all you can do. If you don't have that, you can place it on top of here, or maybe even on here. Depends. Or you can even put a little tall chair over here and put it on top there. Just make sure that it's not hanging on the brake line, that's all. Okay, let's pop this pin out. There it is. Okay, and now we'll be able to get these brake pads out. Sometimes they need a little wiggle, but once you wiggle them a little bit, you'll be able to get it off. There's one. And there's the second one. Pay attention where this brake indicator is. So what this does is when your brakes finally wear out, which mine are pretty good still, I don't even know why I'm replacing these, but I've bought some new good ones, so the back ones are looking pretty bad. I'll show you guys that later. So this brake wear indicator pin, basically if these wear out past the point where you have no brake pad left, there's a little metal piece here that will squeal on your brakes. It will be very loud, so you'll know that your brakes are worn out and need to be replaced. Check it out, mirror. Okay, let's go next. Cool, so here we go. Front brake pads. Old, new, old, new. Let's take a look at them. They're the same. Thickness wise, my old was still pretty good. But since I have them, I'll replace them anyways. And the aft one, the inside one, inboard one's a little bit more worn. Cool, there we go. So now we've compared them. They look identical. It's time to put them on. So I've got a whole bunch of parts here, little accessories that came with these new brake pads, and I'll show you guys in a second. Also some brake lube over there, and you'll need a brush. I'll also show you guys what accessories I'm talking about. So the little mounts here for the brake pads, they're right here on the top and on the bottom. These are old, so if you don't have the new ones, not a big deal. Just clean these up with a brush and maybe some brake cleaner. And yeah, they're good to go to be reused. I'm gonna put new ones on just because I have them. Also, once you've removed the caliper, make sure you check these pins. I'm not even gonna take mine out. The car is pretty new. It's 2017 Accord, right? So these pins seem like they're moving very well. If they're rough, if they're getting stuck, you can take these out easily and then lube them up. Mine are very good. They're moving very well. No need to take these out. So to take them out, you just basically pull back this sleeve right here. Pull that sleeve back and they come out. These are what your bolts screw in for the caliper. Alright, let's go. Right, forgot to mention, guys, it's worth it while you're here. You already have your caliper removed and the wheel is off. To check your rotor to make sure that it doesn't have any big grooves in it. So all I do, like I said, I just ran my nail on it. And if it doesn't catch, if there's no big grooves on this thing, it's good to go. You still got it. Now, I don't have any special measuring tools on thickness and all this stuff that they do in the garage, but this is the first brake change for 65,000 kilometers that I've driven on this car. I'm pretty sure rotors are still good to go. Alrighties. It's super easy to get these guys out. All you gotta do is just pry them down. Now, sometimes they're a little bit stuck because they've been there for 60,000 kilometers or more. So just push them down. Push down once, twice, and there you go. It comes out. So I like to orient it the same way. There's the top one right here. Put that on the right side. Let's get the bottom one out. So one more time, just a little push. This one requires a little bit more motivation. There it is. And a push here on the bottom. Just pry. All I'm doing is I'm prying up with my finger. And here we go. That just flew right in my face. No biggie. That's what garage mechanics like us do, right? So as you can see, all this stuff, all the spots that these go in, they're a bit rusty, right? Not a big deal. We're gonna use some brake cleaner to clean that off. There it is. I'll do the top as well. Got some in my face again. Once again, not a professional mechanic. Wear glasses. That's all I can tell you. Good to go. Now we're just gonna wait for that to dry up or wipe it off with a rag. I got some brushes here. This is a regular toothbrush. They're used for random things, and this is a little metal brush that I bought. I don't even know where. So I'll just brush it off a little bit right here, just the spots where those metal clips sit in on the inside and outside and top and bottom. And then I'm also gonna clean it off with a brush a little bit, just so those little metal things, whatever they're called, they can sit in there nicely. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do here. Cool, now these are all pretty much cleaned up. Okay. Wipe some dust off of it. Okay, time to put the new clips in. Okay, so there it is. That's the top old clip, and this is the top new clip. They're both the same, so it doesn't really matter where you put it in. So these clips sit in just like this. Put them in, and press a little bit. There it is. There's this side, and press on the back a bit, and there's the back side. You can fiddle with it a little bit. As long as your brake pad slides in, that's all that really matters. Okay. There's the bottom one. And this one just slides right in there. Perfect. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. Okay, here we go, new clips in, easy. Cool, so next thing is let's lube up these new brake pads. And just so you guys know, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lube up. You don't put any lube on a part that actually breaks on this part. You do not put any on here because your brakes are gonna be basically ineffective. So make sure you don't put any lube on here, but you lube up this part right here. It will make the brake pad slide in quite a bit easier. I do a little bit on the back as well. I don't know why. It's not gonna hurt though. And a little bit of a mating surface over here. Okay. That's all I'm gonna lube up on this brake pad. Nothing else is needed. Next thing, we're gonna put this brake pad in, so orient your pin properly. Your wear indicator pin right here, that was on the top before. I'm gonna put it just the same way. Alright, so we're gonna slide this brake pad in. Okay, so there's one. I just had to put my camera down, guys, because I'm working with one hand here, and it's a little bit difficult for the aft brake pad, but I'll definitely show you the front brake pad. Same deal here. I'm gonna lube it up a little bit, and then we're gonna put it in. Here we go. There it is. There's new brake pads in. All we gotta do is don't forget these retaining clips. What I think they do is they kind of push out your brake pads, so I think they just help it hold itself against the caliper when they're on there. I'm not exactly sure. If you guys know what these clips are for, let me know, because all they do is they push the pads out away from the rotors. Okay, cheers. Okay, so it's time to compress the piston. Now, the first thing what I'm gonna do is not sure if you can see on my shitty camera, but my brake cylinder itself, the rubber seal around it is pretty dirty. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. I'm gonna use some WD-40, just spray on top of it, and then I'm just gonna use the brush and to clean off some dust and dirt off of it. Okay. So to compress your piston, what I'm gonna use is a little C-clamp right here. Okay, and I usually use a little block of wood or something just to press on a cylinder equally. In this case, C-clamp's not big enough to grab on it, so I'm gonna use my old pad. I'm just gonna slide it in like this. Okay, so we'll press on it. Okay, and now I'm gonna put my C-clamp just like that. And I can clamp it in and compress the piston. Can't do it with a cell phone in my hand, so I'm gonna put it down. I think I'll be able to show you guys how it's clamping in. There it is. I'm just pressing it down. I know the pad's sliding out of the way, but the main thing is that the piston is sitting in. I'm gonna have to hold it, but that's how you do it. Okay, so now, as you can see, the cylinder is compressed. I'm pretty sure it's all the way in. We'll find out. It's time to just slide it back on here. So for this purpose, I'm not gonna film this, guys, because I gotta put these little retaining clips in. And what I found is when I put them in, when I put these little guys in, they got quite a bit of spring pressure on them, and they basically, because I've lubed my my attaching points here for the brake pads, as soon as I put these in, one of the pads flies out. So I'm not going to be able to hold the pads, the camera, and the cylinder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically slide this right on top of the pads, just the way I took it off, okay? And I'll show you afterwards. Okay guys, so I've installed those little metal retaining clips on my brake pads, and now all I gotta do is just slide this caliper back on it. Boom, there it is. That's it in there. And let's get these bolts in. Cool. Valves are all ripped up. Not a big deal. There's that bottom bolt, top bolt. I don't torque my bolts, I just tighten them enough. But obviously there's torque specs on all this stuff, so find out from your manufacturer, get a torque wrench and torque them down if you wish. So also make sure this brake line is not twisted when you put the caliper back on, because you might be positioning it differently up here, and if you twist this brake line, that's just an accident waiting to happen. It's gonna twist off, and you're gonna lose your brake pressure. So yeah, cool. So I'm gonna tighten these bolts now. Top one, here we go. There's the top bolt, and there's the bottom one. Oh, if you're wondering what that wet stuff underneath is, I made a little boo-boo accidentally loosening this bolt over here. Not the top one, but that one. I was looking at the camera and I loosened this off, and this is a brake line bolt, so fluid started coming out just a little bit. I knew it as soon as a little wet spot showed up. I knew that's the brake line bolt, so I stopped right away. We'll see how my brakes work. Hopefully I don't got any air in the system, but that's pretty much it. After you tighten this up, the brake replacement is done. Okay. Here you go. That's how you replace the brakes on the front of Honda Accord 2017 4-cylinder. I don't think it matters whether it's full 4-cylinder or not, but that's how you do it. At home, in the little garage with no space. And there's my hoop over there. I don't know if you guys see it or not, but yeah, I'm gonna smoke that up right now. Oh yeah, don't forget, once you're done, close your brake reservoir. I am not done. I'm still gonna do the aft brake. It's gonna be a separate video, I think. But you'd close this reservoir, put your tire on, lower the car, then start the car up, pump the brakes a couple times, just to make sure that you've got, you know, the piston adjusts itself to your brake pads, and then go for test ride. Here we go, home garage, little tools. If you guys want to know what I used, ask me. They're pretty simple. I don't know where I got this shit, so let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.